Okay, it's time we can start, guys. Firstly, good evening. Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back to your own channel, Scholars. I'm hoping everybody is having a good day as of now. Yeah, it's going to be more fun today because we're going to have a MCQ quiz. It's a mentee quiz basically, and since it's Tuesday, it's a class for standard 11th, and the chapter on which we'll be going to have this quiz is on chapter 6, which is the three orders, right? So we've finished doing that a couple of classes back, so now we'll quickly have a quiz on that. Yeah, so that's what the class is going to be. But before that, let's just say hi to everyone. Namit is here. Hi Namit. I'm doing very good, Namit. Thank you so much for asking. How are you? Also, Ayushi is here. Hi, Ayushi. Good evening. Cool. So just call up your friends, whoever wants to attend the quiz. Just call them up and say that the quiz is going to start in another couple of minutes, and ask them to join. Okay, but in the meanwhile, I'll quickly do the introductory part. Let the other people join as well. Anyways, so my name is Nikitha and I'm the history educator here at Unacademy Scholars channel, and I take classes for both standard 11th and 12th. So a little bit about my educational qualifications. I did my bachelor's from Ashoka University with a major in history and a minor in political science. So that's a little bit about my background. And quickly moving on to Unacademy's plus features. So firstly, you can sit at your own houses and listen to some of the live classes taught by top educators of India, and all of them are available on one single platform. So you really don't have to juggle between various websites or apps to access all these courses. And then there are regular doubt clearing sessions, there are answer writing sessions, there's exhaustive coverage of syllabus as well. There's mentorship provided to you, there's guidance provided to you, along with access to study materials, which are usually in the form of PDFs, and there are practice tests and live test series as well. So in order to gain these benefits, you need to subscribe to Unacademy Plus, and the pricing, as you can see on the screen, are of different ranges. So to be very precise, there are 6 ranges of subscriptions per se. The first is a 6-month subscription. Then there's 9, 12, 15, 18 and 24. The ones visible to the left side of the screen are the original prices, these ones, right? But if you use the code, which is TUM10, you'll get a 10% off straight away after the subscription, and you only have to pay this much, right? So all the prices visible on the right are the prices after the discount. Yeah, so again, have a look at them and go ahead with whichever one you feel comfortable. Quickly moving on to Iconic. There's personal mentorship provided, there are live doubt solving sessions, there are weekly reports, parent connect, and also study planners. So in the same manner, the left side prices are the before discounted ones, and the right side prices are the after discount prices. But here we have almost 9 different durations, right? Starting from 3 months and going to 48 months, almost like a 2-year subscription. So the prices are clearly listed. Have a look at them and go ahead with whichever one you feel comfortable. So that's a little bit about the pricing. And coming to Unacademy's Combat Scholarship Test, it usually happens every Sunday for 11th standard students in the afternoon at 1 p.m. The format is as such that you will be given 30 questions to answer and 30 questions to answer with a time limit of 60 minutes. The tests are available in both Hindi and English, and you can win scholarships worth 1 crore, and these are live tests available on Android apps. And there's something called Bugs Bounty. It's an opportunity for all you learners to report any inappropriate content in the video. You can be the first one to report a particular issue and claim your prize. and then you can report these whatever concerns you have by using the form which is in the description below. So go check that out in the description and you can claim your prize after that. And there's a new set of humanities batch starting in the next week, which is on 1st of November 2021. So it's like a crash course thing. It's a 3 months crash course, and all of the instructors are provided here. The educators list is here, and the subjects that they teach, right? Usually the medium of delivery here is Hindi, so that will make your job much easier. So go join those crash courses. It's going to be very, very beneficial. So yeah, that's the pitch we have for today. We'll quickly move on to the quiz part. Okay guys, the screen is up, the Menti screen is up. So just log on to www.menti.com and it'll ask you for a code. You can use the one which is on the screen, which is 4108157. Just give me a second guys. In the meanwhile, like, keep joining. Okay, I'm repeating the code once again in case anybody didn't get the reference. It's 4108157. Join quickly so that we can start quickly. And if you know any of your friends who wants to take part, just call them up and ask them to like quickly join. I think before that Ayushi has had one question regarding where is this Ashoka University. So it's in Delhi NCR itself, Ayushi, but to be very specific, it's in Sonipat, I think, which comes under the jurisdiction of Haryana, but it's a part of Delhi NCR. Just Google it, you'll get it. Anyways, if that is it, we can start, or we can just wait for another 1 minute for other people to join. Guys, code for one last time, 4108157. Okay, if that is it, then we can start. Cool. So we have a set of 25 questions. Yeah, all of them are MCQs. So the first one is up on the screen. Monks who moved from one place to another, preaching to the people and living on charity, were known as dash. Okay, that's a quick enough answer. Out of the options we have Manor, Friars, Tite and Serfs. The answer is option B, which is Friars, right? We've discussed so many like details about it: monks, nuns, bishops, friars. All of these people are related to the church and religion, but we've discussed the differences between them. And friars are those people who basically move from one place to another, right? So yeah, so that's the difference between monks and friars. Okay, we can have a quick look at the leaderboard. Okay, Aishi was the fastest and therefore topping the leaderboard. We'll quickly move to the next. We see the rise of absolute monarchy in Europe in which centuries, right? Like which centuries do we see the rise of absolute monarchy? Is it 15th and 16th centuries, or 13th and 14th, or 12th and 13th, or 16th and 17th? Okay, I would say only 1% got this right, which is option A, right? 15th and 16th centuries. Most of the chapter that we dealt about is still like 13th, 14th, but when it came to like political changes that we have seen and talked about like France and England in particular and the differences between them, we were dealing with the 15th and 16th, right? There basically we saw the rise of absolute monarchy. Kings in France, Spain, England, all of them are becoming very, very powerful, right? Not a problem, Ayushi. Never mind. Anyways, Sonali was the only one who got this right, and therefore she's on the top. Good job, Sonali. There's still a lot of questions, guys. Catch up. We'll move on to the next one, which is, what were cathedral towns? Right? It's a fairly simple question. So read it properly and give your answer. Are those the towns developed around plains? Towns developed around churches? Towns developed around industries? Or towns developed around the capital? What are basically the cathedral towns? Okay, fair enough. The answer is option B, right? These are the towns which basically developed around the churches. So usually like a huge cathedral was built somewhere in the city or in the town, and it usually took a lot of years for its construction, right? Because the cathedrals are supposed to be very large or huge. So in the meantime, these were constructed like within that stipulated time period, like 5 years or 7 years. Within those years, the surrounding areas were like developed, right? All of these merchant shops, infrastructure, like development in terms of every aspect used to happen around these cathedrals, and therefore they are known as the cathedral towns. Yeah. Okay, we'll quickly have a look at the leaderboard. Cool, Ayushi was the fastest, but Sonali is still topping it. Good job, guys. But before moving on to the next, Ayushi has a request regarding the map-based questions for class 12. Yes, Ayushi, that's something we will be discussing in the future classes, right? So probably we can do this in next week. Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely plan for a session which is like totally based on maps. Yeah, so don't worry about that. Anyways, moving on to the next. The land granted by the Lord to the knights was called as dash. Was the land was called as fief or feud or seigneur or manor? What is the name of the land which is granted by the Lord to the knights? The options are right there. Have a look at them. Okay, fair enough. The answer is option A, right? They're basically called as fiefs. It's again a factual point, like no concepts involved, so no explanation. Okay, Ayushi was the fastest, but Sonali is still leading it. Good job. Question number 5. A guild was an association of dash. Like which occupation people formed the guilds? Were they monks, farmers, craftsmen, or lords? Okay, fair enough. The answer is craftsmen, right? Very, very important. Like they formed all of these organizations and groups, came together and formed an association, and they regulated all the rules and regulations on which the all of their production will be run, right? So that's a guild. Okay, Sonali is still on the top. Good job, Sonali. Question 6. The king who was declared the Holy Roman Emperor was dash. Like, who was the first king to be declared as the Holy Roman Emperor? Was it Charlemagne, Louis I, Louis III, or Edward II? Out of all the given options, the correct answer is option A, right? It's Charlemagne. He was a ruler who ruled for almost 2-3 decades during the end of the 8th and early 9th centuries. So exactly in the year 800 AD, he was declared as the Holy Roman Emperor by the Pope. Yeah. Okay. Shubham is here with us. Hi, Shubham. You can quickly join the Menti. The code is on the screen, or if there's some technical problem, you can keep answering in the YouTube chat itself, Shubham. No problem, Ayushi. Just keep answering from the next, right? Anyways, Ayushi was the fastest, but Sonali is still topping it. Good job, guys. Okay, we'll quickly move on to question number 7. One of the gradual changes that affected the social and economic ties between the lords and the vassals was dash. The options are agricultural technology, environment, land use, or new towns. Okay, the answer is actually option B. Yeah, so it's environment, right? If you read the question properly, I'm talking about the gradual changes. What does gradual mean? It's like the slow changes, right? Which took a lot of time. So those are basically environmental factors and the change in weather and climatic conditions and all. Agricultural technology, land use, and new towns were also the factors which affected the social and economic ties. But these are not gradual changes. Yeah, these are dramatic changes. Matlab, like, these are quick changes, right? So that's why you'll have to read the question properly. Okay, Shubham has a problem with Menti. Shubham, the code is up on the screen. It's 4108157. Yeah, thanks Ayushi for putting that down. Cool. So yeah, leaderboard, right? Like Ayushi was the fastest, Sonali is still leading it. Cool. So we'll quickly move to question 8. Again, fairly simple. Who was William I? Right? We all of us know that he's a duke, but the duke belonging to which region? Right? Was he a duke of Normandy? Was he a duke of Exeter? Duke of Somerset, or Duke of Darlington? Okay, fair enough. The answer is actually option A, right? He is the Duke of Normandy. His basically like his origins were from France, but later on he moves to the English part, like the England region, right? And then he establishes himself and defeats all those Anglo-Saxons and establishes his own empire, right? So that's William I, Duke of Normandy. Okay, Sonali was the fastest and also therefore topping it. Good job. Cool. So quickly moving to question 9. According to French priests, the basis of classification among the 3 orders was dash. The options are education, race, wealth, or nature of work. I'm repeating the question again. According to the French priests, the basis of classification among the 3 orders was dash. Like, what is the basis on which the classification happened? Okay, fair enough. The answer is actually option D, which is the nature of the work, right? So we've seen, right, like some scholar like commented on the functioning of the society, saying there are three orders. Yeah, the first order are the people who basically pray. The second order are the people who basically fight, and the third order are the people who work, right? So what are we talking about here? It's the nature of the work. Praying is also the work. Fighting is a work. Working for somebody is also some kind of work, right? So the basis here is the nature of the work on which the classification of the three orders happened. Okay, the answer. Okay, Sonali got this right and also like the quickest, and therefore topping. Good job, Sonali. Question 10. The church was given the right to take 1/10 of the total produce of the peasant over the course of a year, which was called as dash. Was it taeli, was it teeth, or toll, or francs? The question is, the church was given the right to take 1/10 of the total produce of a peasant, either in the form of a tax or something else. So, but like, what is this called, right? Okay, cool. The answer is option B. It's called as teeth, right? So again, the conceptual understanding behind this is, as citizens living in a particular kingdom, you're supposed to pay a certain amount of tax, right? Usually you pay tax to the state because they are the political authority. In the same manner, people in the medieval Europe as well, they paid taxes to the state, right? But alongside, church also had certain political powers vested in them, and therefore they demanded the tax from normal peasants as well. So peasants usually, like, let's say they're getting like 10 kilos of rice, right? So they have to give the 1 kilo of rice as tax to the church. So that's the 1/10 of the total produce, and that's called teeth. Anyways, okay, Ayushi was the fastest. Sonali is still topping it. Good job. Okay, question 11. The famous book Feudal Society, which dealt with the French society, was written by who? Like, who wrote the book, right? Was it James Cunningham? Was it Alexander Cunningham? Was it James Block or Mark Block? Who is the author of the book Feudal Society? Okay, fair enough. The answer is option D, right? It's Mark Block. So yeah, that's again a factual information, so no concepts to be explained. Okay, we'll quickly have a look at the leaderboard. Ayushi was the fastest. Sonali is topping it. Good job. Okay, quickly moving on to question 12. Europe witnessed change in land use switch from a 2-field to a 3-field system during which period? Was it during the 10th century, 11th century, 12th century, or 13th century? Europe witnessed change in land use. Okay, fair enough. The answer is actually option B, Yeah, this happened in the 11th century, right? Like we've discussed this whole concept of change in the agricultural land patterns where 3 crops were grown in a year instead of the 2, right? Which basically meant more agricultural production, and therefore surplus of grains meant that export and import also happened in a very rigorous manner. Yeah. Okay, Sonali got this right. Obviously, like she's still topping it because she's the quickest. Nazia is here with us. Hi Nazia, good evening. Uh, Half of the quiz is almost over, Nazia, but no problem. You can join the mentee right now and keep answering from where we are right now. Yeah. So do that, Nazia. Thanks, Ayushi, for backing up. Anyways, question 13. New agricultural technology was consisting of dash. The option A is reclamation of land. Option B is use of heavy iron tipped plows. Option C, shoulder harness of bullocks. And option D is all of them, right? Okay, fair enough. That was a quick enough answer. The correct answer is option D, right? So we've seen like the whole role of agricultural technology kicking in. It's a dramatic change, right? So there are so many changes happening, right? Before that, we used to have a wooden plow, which was not very effective, but with the introduction of plows made of iron, and that too like heavy iron tipped plows, they were effective in tilling the soil. Therefore the nutrients and the topsoil is good, right? It gets what do you say, like revived every once in a while, right? And then when it comes to the harness of the bullocks, initially they used to be on the neck, but with the introduction of agricultural technology, it moved to the shoulder, which are much stronger than the neck, right? And there was obviously reclamation of land, so the answer is all of them. Yeah. Okay. Sonali is the fastest. Good job, Sonali. And you're topping. Guys, just give me 1 minute. Just hold on like that. Okay, cool. I'm sorry for the delay, but we'll quickly move on. Okay, question 14. Free peasants were dashed, right? Like who were basically the free peasants? Were they peasants come full-time soldiers, tenants of the lord, payer of labor, rent and begar, or denied of political rights? Like what is that attribution given to the free peasants? Read the options carefully. You have 10 seconds time. Cool. So free peasants were basically the people who were the tenants of lord, right? The lord belonged to the second order, the free peasants were the third order people, and third order basically worked for the second order, right? They are the rent payers on the lands of the lord, right? So that's free peasants. Cool. Quickly having a look at the leaderboard. Sonali got the answer right. Also Ayushi, I guess. Yeah. Okay, cool. Sonali is still topping it. Question 15. Monasteries were established. Yeah, like where were they established basically? The first option is in the middle of the towns. The second is away from the town and in the forest. The third is far away from human inhabitation. And the fourth is in vicinity of the churches. Where were the monasteries basically established? The location, right? Okay, fair enough. The answer is option C, right? So monasteries again are like these huge complexes. Like initially they were smaller with a group of just 10 to 20 monks. But as the time passed by, these groups became much larger and larger. Often like thousands and thousands of monks and nuns used to live together, right? And that is why they became much larger in size, and they were constructed usually far away from the human inhabitations in isolated places. Yeah? Cool. Aditya is here. No problem, Aditya. You can join right now. Yeah, we still have like 10 more questions to go, I guess. Cool. Okay, we'll quickly have a look at the leaderboard. Ayushi was the fastest. Sonali is still topping it. Good job. Question 16, but before that, Ayushi has something to say. I'm not sure about the Menti marathon, Ayushi, but like, see, if what you're suggesting is a mixed set of questions on all the chapters, like basically the 4 chapters of term 1, yes, we are doing that. I think we're doing it on like Thursday itself, which is day after tomorrow. It's basically a term 1 quiz on all the chapters, but we won't be having like 80 questions and all because it will take a lot of time and people will usually be bored answering 80 questions. So we'll just do like 30, 35, and we can do another set of questions some other time, right? So yeah. Okay, Namit has something to say. He's got 20 out of 25. Good job, Namit. That's actually a good score. Congratulations. Not as of now, Aishi, but like from next month I will. Yeah? Cool. Question 16. Construction of cathedral towns were basically attributed to dash. Option A, higher yield in agricultural production, promotion of trade and industry, business promotion drive under the shade of religion, the contribution and subscription by craftsmen, artisans, merchants, and common people. Why were basically the cathedral towns constructed, or like what were they attributed to? Okay, I would say the correct answer is option C, right? So like what are cathedrals, right? They're basically religious associations. So like under the name of religion, so much development is taking place surrounding the cathedrals, right? Which are the cathedral towns. So what's happening there? All of these businesses are being promoted, right? Like businesses for craftspersons, businesses for goldsmiths, carpenters, like every occupation which is a business is being promoted, but it is taking the form, or like it is under the disguise of religion, right? So that's the attribution. Okay. Ayushi got this right. and obviously the fastest because she's the only one. But Sonali is still topping it. Good job, Sonali. Okay, quickly moving to question 17. Depletion of silver resources in which regions resulted in shortage of metal money? Which regions, right? Like which countries? Was it Austria and Norway, Serbia and Norway, Austria and Serbia, or none of the above? Where did the silver resources started depleting, which resulted in the shortage of metal money, like metal currency? Cool. The answer is option C. Actually, yeah, it's Austria and Serbia. It's specifically mentioned in your textbook that both of them are like were originally like silver rich sites, right? Lots of silver resources, like lots of silver ores, but there was like continuous mining of silver happening. After a point of time, obviously there will be a shortage, right? Because you have been like continuously extracting silver from a particular place for a really long time. At some point they'll be depletion. Yeah, so that's what happened in Austria and Serbia as well. Okay, cool. So Ronald got this right. Good job, Ronald. Question number 18. Which of the following were not eligible to become a priest? Options are craftsmen, serfs, goldsmiths, or all of the above. Who were basically not eligible to become a priest? The options are craftsmen, serfs, goldsmiths, or all of the above. The time is almost up. Okay, unfortunately option D is not the answer, guys. It's not all of the above. Your textbook specifically mentions that it's just the group of serfs who are not eligible to become a priest, right? So the answer is option B, but that's okay. You've learned something new, so like don't be disheartened. Okay, the leaderboard still remains the same. Question 19. There was a growing uncertainty about the value and purpose of monasticism. By which time, right? Like by which century did the concept of monasticism started declining? Was it the 12th century, 13th century, 14th century, or 15th century? Growing uncertainty about the value and also the purpose of monasticism. Okay, that's a fair distribution of answers, I would say, but the correct answer is option C. It's 14th century, right? So like there was this whole paragraph in your textbook which talks about the activities that all of these monks and nuns do, right? They basically stay in the monasteries, they do some sort of work, like either they do the agricultural work or infrastructural work, and they just spread the message of the god, right? But the same activities are being done by other peasants in the villages as well, right? They're also praying, they're also spreading the message of god, they're also involving in the agricultural activities. When the work is the same, yeah, what is new or what is something special about all of these monks and nuns, right? So people started questioning that, and therefore their value started diminishing in the 14th century. Cool. So Namit says C. Absolutely right, Namit. It's C. Okay, again, Ronald got this right. Good job, Ronald. Question number 20. The Germanic tribe who gave the name to Gaul, making it France, was dash. Like who basically changed the name from Gaul to France. Were they Franks, Vikings, Clovis, or none of the above? The change of name from Gaul to France was given by a Germanic tribe. Which Germanic tribe is this? Franks, Vikings, Clovis, none of the above. Cool. So the answer is actually option A, right? It's Franks. So we've talked about Franks in the previous chapter as well. Yeah, where we're dealing with the Central Islamic lands. There also Franks came up. Yeah. So again, these are like a very important or like powerful group of tribes hailing from Germany, like present day Germany. Yeah. They occupied France in the medieval times, and they like initially the France's name was Gaul, right? And then these were the people who actually renamed it as France. Cool. Again, we can have a quick look at the leaderboard. Sonali and Ayushi, both of y'all were the quickest, like same timing I guess. But Sonali is still topping it. Good job. Question 21. The first order in the feudal society was held by the dash. Fairly simple question, I would say. The first order consisted of peasants or clergy or the lords or slaves. Yeah, 4 options, select one. The simple question, who basically constituted the first order in the feudal society? The time is almost up. Okay, the answer is option B. It's clergy, right? Guys, fairly simple. Again, I have been like focusing on this point forever, that the 3 orders of the society, yeah, it's just like blatant statement, remember anyway, right? The first order is clergy, right? The second order is the lords. The third order is the peasants, right? So basically, other way of remembering this order is clergy are the people who pray, right? So people who pray are in the first order. People who fight are the lords, and they are in the second order. And lastly, there are the peasants who work, right? So it's pray, work, pray, fight, and work. Yeah, or like clergy, lords, and peasants. Cool. Sonali got this right. Good job, Sonali. You'll definitely be on the top after this. Okay, moving to question 22. The direct tax levied by kings on the peasants was called as dash. Was it tally, teeth, feudal levies, or excise tax? It is a direct tax that was levied by the kings on the peasants in Europe. What is that tax called as? Option A is tally, option B is teeth, option C feudal levies, or excise tax. The time's almost up. The answer is option A, which is tally, right? So I was telling you, right, like usually the people who have the right to levy a tax on the peasants are the kings, because they are the ultimate political authority. But kings as well as church in the medieval Europe used to levy tax on the peasants. That's like a double burden on the peasants. Anyways, cool. So Ayushi was the fastest. Sonali is still topping it. Good job. Question. Okay, the question's up. Feudalism is derived from the term feud. All of us know that, right? So, but which language does this word feud belong to? Yeah, is this a French term, an English term, German term, or an Italian term? And the right answer is option C, right? It's basically a German word. Again, a factual point, no explanation needed. Cool. So again, Ayushi was the fastest. Sonali is still on the top. Okay, last but one question, question 24. Europe experienced a crisis in the 14th century in the form of a bubonic plague called as dash. Like, what is that plague called as? Okay, that's a fairly simple question and therefore quick responses, but let me just read out the options. Yeah, it's the Grey Death, the Black Death, the Great Plague, and Plague of Justinian, right? So all of these plagues actually did happen in the world out there at some point of time, but we're specifically talking about the European plague in the 14th century, which lasted for almost 3 years. Yeah, and wiped out like 1/3, 1/4 of the population at times. It's the bubonic plague called as the Black Death, right? So the answer is option B. Cool. Leaderboard. Sonali, Ayushi, both of them got this right. Ayushi was the fastest. Sonali is still topping. Good job. One last question. So on your toes, guys. Which of the following is not one of the political changes happening in Europe? I'm asking the question which is not. Yeah, so read it properly. Read the options also. Organizing standing armies, rise of nation states, decline of feudalism, or decline of financial power. The question is which is not one of the political changes happening in Europe? The time is almost up. Okay, fair enough. I would say the answer is the last option, right? It's decline of financial power, because exactly the opposite of that is happening. In 15th, 16th centuries, when the political changes were happening, there was the strengthening of financial power that was taking place. Yeah, like taxes were being laid, people were regularly paying the taxes, there was a lot of booty, there was a lot of all of this wealth, resources, and all near the king, like near the state, right? So there was definitely strengthening of financial power happening, but not the decline. Yeah, so that's why option D is the right answer, and all of the other three are the right options, right? With the political changes, all of these three factors also accompanied. Yeah, so cool. We'll have a look at the leaderboard for one last time. Ayush was the fastest. Good job, Ayush. But we have Sonali in the top with almost 18 questions, right? I'm assuming 18 or 19. So that's a good job, Sonali. Congratulations. But that doesn't mean others didn't perform well. Everybody else did perform well, Ayushi and everyone. So good job, guys. That was a great quiz. Okay, cool. We'll quickly move on to the yeah, so that brings us to the end of the quiz. Any questions, any concerns, any doubts you all have regarding anything, um, you can ask them in the chat box. We still have time. Anyways, like, how are the questions, guys? Like, were they easy? Were they difficult or moderate? How did you feel the questions were? At least as far as it concerns me, I thought like I've like put in a couple of easy ones, a couple of tricky ones. So I would say it's a moderate level paper, right? Cool. Namit, if you're talking about the next class timings, it's going to be on Thursday at 6 p.m. in the like 6 in the evening, right? So if that's what you're asking, or if that is not exactly what you're asking, can you just reframe your question, Namit? Anyways, just keep asking anything you'll want to in the chat box. In the meanwhile, I'll try to wind this session up. Yeah. Cool. So I was talking about the plus and iconic subscriptions in the beginning of the class. So there's a special offer, which is a festive season offer going on right now. It's valid till 31st of October, which is a Sunday. So here, if you use the code which is TUM10, you'll obviously get a 10% off straight away. But if you do it before 31st of October, you'll be given an additional 10% off. So it's a limited offer. So hurry up, guys, go grab yours before this ends. And yeah, finally, thank you so much for tuning in. It was a great quiz. I had fun. I'm hoping you all had fun too and learned something out of it for sure. Yeah. Cool. So lastly, if you like the content of these videos, please do like them as soon as the live stream ends. Share it as much as possible. Comment down below with any concerns or questions you have. And also subscribe to the channel Unacademy and scholars in particular. Yeah. Thanks again. Thanks so much. Okay, about the next session, Namit. Yes, we're going to have it on Thursday. Yeah, usual timings itself, 6 o'clock. Yeah, 6 p.m. It's going to be an interesting class. We'll be having a mega quiz, right? Which means that we'll be having a quiz on all the 4 chapters, basically the whole of term 1 syllabus. Yeah. So if y'all want to prepare, I'm telling y'all 2 days in advance. Like, yeah, just go ahead and prepare. Yeah. Ayushi, there's a season change happening, so like please take care. Yeah. Take care of your health, Ayushi. Cool. The session is officially over. Y'all can leave because we're done for today. I'll see you guys next on Thursday at 6 for a mega quiz. Yeah. But I'll just hang on for a couple of seconds in case anybody has any questions. Right? So y'all can ask me. Otherwise, that's the end. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, I don't see any questions nor any comments. So I'll take that as everything is clear. Yeah. So yeah, that brings us to the end. I'll see you guys again on Thursday. As I was mentioning earlier, we'll be having a mega quiz, right? So be prepared for that. And till then, have a good evening today and also have a good day tomorrow. Yeah. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you. Bye everyone.